I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star, and this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out. And I think I was so vulnerable and comfortable.
You'll be startled to learn about the 10 celebrities that viciously disparaged Ryan Reynolds and the bizarre terms they used to describe him. For a long time, Ryan Reynolds was the ideal Hollywood figure, but many celebrities have discovered his terrible ego, rudeness, and bullying tendencies. For a long time, Ryan Reynolds has been able to conceal his true colors behind a comedy persona, but not until he went all out to expose the rudeness of the Jersey Shore cast. Sammy John Cola and Dina Corsi were asked about their experiences with rude celebrities in the industry during an appearance on Watch What Happens Live with Andy Cohen. Sammy attempted to respond without naming names because bringing up well-known Hollywood figures in such circumstances can backfire. As we go deeper, you will see why this is crucial, even for other highly regarded celebrities, Sammy said.
I did a film with an absolute idiot of a co-star, and this human being was being so insecure and angry because this person couldn't get the scenes out. And I think I was so vulnerable and comfortable that I got screamed at. But because this person was number one on a call sheet, there was no safety net for me. So no one had my back.
Dina blurted it all out while Sammy was attempting to hide the celebrity, admitting that they were talking about Ryan Reynolds. Dina chose to play it cool by saying that he wasn't very nice to us. Blake Lively didn't want to be with us, and I like Ryan Reynolds. Sammy also disclosed that despite Ryan's rudeness, she still loves him and gave him the benefit of the doubt, saying that perhaps he was having a rough day. Nevertheless, Sammy and Dina wouldn't be the first to discuss their unpleasant experiences with famous people without naming names. Rebecca Ferguson had to disclose how severely a co-star had treated her on set after she was so badly harmed in one of her previous films. Although she never gave the identity, she described the traumatic event and how it went for her.
I remember the next day I walked on and I said, "You get off my set." This is the first time I've ever spoken. I remember being so scared. And I looked at this person and I said, "You can F off. I'm going to work towards a tennis ball. I never want to see you again."
The co-star was a powerful Hollywood personality and a key player on set. So even though Rebecca was terrified of this person, no one stood by her. However, she persisted in her statement, and I recall the next day when I stepped on and...
We know you have an ongoing feud with Ryan.
Who?
You know that guy. What's it gonna take for him to actually be BFFs with you?
Well, I mean, in truth, there was a time in which we were.
But of course, it wasn't such an easy decision because Rebecca had to go a different path to defend herself because the producers couldn't allow the co-star leave because they were the most important person on site.
Any words for Ryan, seeing as the next time we talk to him, he will be seeing that?
I have nothing to say to him.
People have been curious about who Rebecca was referring to ever since she made this statement about an unknown but well-known person. In a scenario where it would have made sense to act to the back of the person's head, it had to have been a CGI film where they could get around the editing. However, one of her previous film projects, Life, fits this narrative even more, and she was in the film with Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal. Until recently, when they learned that it could have been Ryan because so many unpleasant things are now coming up about him in relation to Blake and Justin's lawsuits, people kept speculating about who Rebecca was referring to. Rebecca chose to promote Life alone, avoiding her two main co-stars, and it was obvious that the incident occurred on the set with many fingers pointing at Ryan. After all, this isn't the first time someone has been cautious about mentioning his name in a situation like this. What's even scarier about this story is that, despite Rebecca never naming anyone, her co-workers began calling her to warn her, saying, "You understand what you've done, right?" You'll find it even more shocking to learn that Rebecca is likely not the only one from that set to have a feud with Ryan, because Jake has also come out to deny him, despite the fact that they were once friends. Rebecca had to stand her ground and say that if someone is a good person, they don't have to worry about anything. Ryan is thought to have been acting like a good person before the truth started to come out.
Really weird moment on Deadpool where he said, "Let's do one more take." And everyone was like, "Okay." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And then as the character, he was like horrifically mean to me, but to me.
Cathartic.
As if I'm Weasel.
Additionally, it seems that Ryan may have done something that Jake thinks unacceptable because he terminated him without warning.
So he was like, what's great about you, Weasel? You're not the star, but you just, you do just enough exposition that it's funny, and then we can leave and get back to the real movie.
So he's riffing.
Jake's final face expression completely conveys his feelings over Ryan bringing up co-stars. It's becoming clear that none of this is a coincidence, as Morena Baran was purposefully excluded from all press and events involving Deadpool and Wolverine due to a disagreement she had with Ryan Reynolds on set in the red carpet photos at the premiere. Morena Baran also had some unpleasant experiences with Ryan Reynolds, which explained her diminished role in Deadpool despite starting very strongly in the franchise, from playing one of the essential characters in the first Deadpool to becoming absent and taking a minor position. The fact that Morena was photographed alone is allegedly due to Ryan's demands, and it's a fascinating parallel to what transpired between Blake and Justin in Deadpool. It was such a strong move that Morena wasn't even photographed with any of the other cast members at the premiere, despite the fact that they were all happily gathered around Ryan. The agreement may have been about redefining her roles or the jokes in the movie, and Ryan's ego couldn't handle it. But whatever transpired, Ryan displayed his power by sidelining the actress who stood her ground but had no one to support her against him. And you know who else called out Ryan for the insecurities that he conceals behind his jokes? TJ Miller, another of his co-stars. TJ, who played Weasel in Deadpool, disclosed that Ryan was the reason he left the movie and that he wouldn't have returned for Deadpool 3, even if they had paid him twice as much as he did for the previous role. TJ also disclosed that he would never collaborate with Ryan again because he never fully recovered from the appalling treatment he received on the set. Despite the fact that they both enjoy comedy, TJ is certain that Ryan wasn't kidding and was instead demeaning him in order to harm him without feeling guilty when he said it. Additionally, TJ couldn't think of any reason why Ryan would treat him rudely or make fun of him for playing a supporting role by claiming that he isn't the star he believes he is. This wasn't for any other reason, but rather to remind TJ that Ryan isn't as successful as he is, and it's amazing how Ryan scarred his ex-wife over this. As we get to it soon, TJ shared this belief with Tim Miller, the former director of Deadpool, who quit his job due to Ryan Reynolds. Tim disclosed that Ryan left the franchise due to his possessiveness of the Deadpool movies. Tim claimed that it became evident that Ryan wanted to control the franchise. You can work that way as a director, but I can't. I don't mind debating, but if I can't win, I don't want to play, and I don't think you can negotiate every creative decision because there's too much to make. Ryan's position as the franchise's face gave him an advantage, and when Tim refused to make concessions, he had to kick Tim out of the production to get his way. When Ryan isn't taking charge of film projects or acting insecurely toward his coworkers to the point of being rude to them and icing them out, he does that in his romantic relationships. It was a rather terrible scene with Scarlett Johansson, with whom he was married from 2008 to 2011. They began dating in 2007 and dated for about a year before Ryan proposed, and they were married in 2008. It's thought that Scarlett's big acting contracts in films like Iron Man 2 and The Avengers between 2009 and 2011 before their release caused their marriage to fall apart, which is important given what Scarlett revealed as soon as they got divorced. It's no secret that Ryan loves to be in charge because he took over Deadpool and forced the former director to resign, and Scarlett also hinted that he was like that in their marriage, which she didn't find cute at all. Scarlett has been hinting at a lot of things that went wrong in their union, and the keywords are always jealousy and insecurity. She said, "I don't like jealous behavior, and I don't mind an occasional check-in, but when someone is passive-aggressively jealous, it's unattractive because it shows a sort of insecurity." Oh, controlling behavior is terrible. It makes sense that Scarlett became so certain that her success was a contributing factor in the breakdown of their marriage when Ryan was struggling. She claimed that the logistics of sharing your time with another actor are difficult, particularly when two people's careers are progressing at the same pace. Even if one person is more successful than the other, that also proves difficult. There may be a competitive thing on another occasion. Scarlett blasted Ryan once more for his fears, claiming that dating an actor is unstable since Ryan destroyed their relationship. She also said that while there will always be a more successful spouse, Ryan never intended to be the least successful partner in this marriage. Blake was another significant factor that may have contributed to Scarlett and Ryan's divorce, and Scarlett compared rejection to how performers feel when they are unsuccessful and assumed they are not desired. Ryan and Blake met on the set of Green Lantern when Ryan was still married. They had an insane chemistry and couldn't keep it together around each other on set until they became separated from their partners and started dating. However, for Ryan, who felt he was already losing control in his marriage to Scarlett due to his fragile ego, it was very easy for him to connect with Blake in an unhealthy way against his marriage to Scarlett, which destroyed it. Before Ryan met Scarlett, he had a long-term relationship with Alanis Morissette. They started dating in 2002 and became engaged in 2004. Sadly enough, they couldn't get to the altar before calling off their wedding after about 6 years of relationship. As a singer, Alanis expressed her pains and experience with Ryan in music. She mentioned that her split with Ryan inspired her album Flavors of Entanglement, and in one of the lines it read, "If I just say it's true, I'm unbelievably insecure, really broken, devastated, then I can move through it." And it's super weird how the word insecure always creeps into anything Ryan's exes say about him, and given his track record, it's too frequent to be a lie. One well-known Hollywood secret is that many directors are reluctant to collaborate with Ryan Reynolds because they fear he would take over their films. This well-known director went to great lengths to disparage Ryan and the kind of work he produces. I mean, and I'm not criticizing anyone, but it seems like Ryan Reynolds has made $50 million for Netflix on this movie, $50 million on that movie, and $50 million on the next movie. I have no idea what any of those movies are, and I have never seen them. Have you? Quentin Tarantino confirmed that he never wants to work with Ryan because he's just a well-paid actor with no quality project to show for it. Quentin went on to disparage Ryan, saying that while it's good for him that he's making so much money, it's almost as if they don't exist. Quentin dislikes working with streaming services, but Ryan has collaborated with Netflix on The Adam Project and Six Underground Red Notice in recent years. It becomes really intriguing when you realize why Quentin is angry with Ryan. Chris Columbus, the original director of the classic Home Alone, was furious at Ryan Reynolds for attempting to remake the movie. Chris hated the absurd notion, even though he could have enjoyed a reboot. Ryan wanted to make it a stoned-alone movie. According to reports, the movie centers on a 20-something loser who grows marijuana and misses his plane for his vacation ski trip. The plot then picks up where it left off, with robbers breaking into his house. Chris thought this was garbage and called the proposed reboot an insult, saying the reboots are just silly to me. When I read about the R-rated Home Alone movie about stoners that they were going to do with Ryan, I thought, this is just an insult to the art of cinema. He told Ryan to forget about it and watch the original because the reboot's proposed title alone already disrespects it, like Quentin, who publicly stated that Ryan Reynolds' films don't exist because they aren't good enough to have an impact on another celebrity, subtly referred to Ryan's films as trash. Ryan was made fun of by Gerard Butler when his film Ryan's Free Person was compared to Gamer. When asked about the parallels between these two films, Gerard said that they have a similar idea because they are both based on virtual reality video games. He claimed not to know what Free Guy is, but when the reporter informed him that it was Ryan Reynolds' film, he said that he didn't see it, which is a huge jab at the actor, as many other famous people have done.